Alright, you lot, how's it going? So, the winter's here now, pretty much. Well, the winter is here. I mean, we're in bloody nearly the end of November, so the winter is here. Now, there'll probably be some of you that are in wet climates, and you may come across puddles and things. I've already had a few people say that they've drowned their engine, and how do they recover their engine? I must say, it can't be any easier than it is to recover a drowned engine, or an engine which has sucked in some water. Perhaps you've, well, maybe you've gone for a deep puddle and it's sucked in a load of water. It could be a problem. If it's hydrolocked while it's at high RPM, the chances of it snapping a conrod or a crank or damaging a piston or doing something drastic is quite high. But if it's toppled into a pond or toppled over something and fallen in some water while it's on a tick over or very low RPM, you may be lucky. Or maybe it just for some reason got drowned, right? It's incredibly easy. A lot of people think, oh, the engine's had it now, it's got water in it, it's had it, it's no good, oh, I'm going to get a new one. No. You can drown engines as many times as you want. They'll be absolutely fine. All you got to do is get the water out. So let's take the shell off this buggy and I'll show you how simple it is. I was going to dunk the engine in some water, completely drown it, and then recover it to prove to you how easy it is. But I haven't got the means to do that at the moment, so I thought what I'll do, I'll show you lot now the principle of it all, and then we'll do an experiment. I've recovered a few of my Savages and things where I've drowned them in ponds by mistake, and I think the MP9 went in a pond, and I recovered that in a video. But this is to show you lot how easy it is. So let's move you a little bit closer. Right, so we've got here your car, and you've drowned it in water. It won't start. The engine won't turn over. If yours, this one hasn't got a pull start on it, but if yours has got a pull start on it, you put it in a pull start, but it won't turn over. Don't pull the pull start too hard, because you'll just simply break the pull start. You'll probably break the string. You won't do any damage to the engine itself by simply trying to pull it over with a pull start. If you've got a drill on it, or if you've got a roto start and you put a drill or something, the roto start itself won't have enough oomph to break a conrod or do some damage, but a drill may do. So don't try anything, don't try and force it over, you know. You need to start at the basics. So what you need to do is you simply need to locate, you can find it wherever it's gone, your glow plug spanner, and all you got to do, it couldn't be any simpler. I mean, this is the simplest thing in the world, right? Take out the glow plug, right, and turn your engine over. If it's got a pull start, keep pulling it over. All the water will start to come out. Keep pulling it. If it hasn't got a pull start, it's got a roto start. Put the roto start on it. Keep doing that. If it uses a starter box, same thing. Stick it on the starter box. Keep turning the engine over. Now, keep doing it until no more water comes out. You should, by the way, take the air filter off, because chances are your sponge is full of water. Alright, so take the air filter off completely. Now, we're just talking about the engine, but as a car as a whole, if the whole car has gone in the pond or the water and it's been completely submerged, chances are you probably got water in your nitro tank. So you want to take off your fuel line from your carburetor, take off your line from your exhaust, blow down your exhaust one and put that one in a bush, or I don't know, next to a flower bed or something like that. Blow all that out there. Yeah, blow all the nitro out and all the water as well. That way you could put a bit of nitro in there and then blow it out again, flush it out, right? Because if there's water in that nitro tank, when you've cleaned out your engine and you're going to try and start it again, it's not going to run very well if it's got water in the tank, is it, obviously? So you need to be quite careful of that. So you can also check the glow plug to make sure the glow plug is still right. once you've turned your engine over a lot to get as much of the water out as possible, you can put some oil down in there. Now you can either use after run oil, or you can use 1540, or good old 3-in-1. Anything that will lubricate that piston and the bearings again. You can stick a load of oil down the carburetor as well. Just stick it straight down in the carburetor. That then will go straight into the block, and that will put some oil and flush all the water out of your crank and all your bearings. WD-40 is another good one, because obviously WD, water displacement, it will flush all the water out of the bearings. But that's not a necessity. I mean, I don't do that unless I'm going to be letting the engine sit. If you're going to let the engine sit after you've cleaned the water out, yes, you need to put as much oil as possible in the inside of it. But if you're going to fire it up again immediately and carry on with your day, you don't need to worry about putting loads of oil in there. Once you've got as much of the water out as possible, and you've tested the glow plug and you know that it works fine, and you've emptied your tank out and put fresh nitro fuel in it, stick your glow plug back in it again, prime it up, and try and start it. It'll run, yeah? And the heat being generated in it will make any water in any bearings and anywhere else start to evaporate, come out the exhaust. You'll see a bit of steam coming out. You can run it without an air filter on while you're doing this. You need to sort the air filter out if you're going to carry on with your day, so you're going to have to wring that out and get it as dry as you possibly can, or if you've got a replacement one with you, just put the replacement filter on. It's as simple as that. There is no hard thing about it. People seem to make it seem much harder to recover a drowned engine than it really is. Now, these engines, nitro engines, they're a two-stroke engine, so they don't have any oil in the sump. Now, we're talking mainly about these engines, but we will brush ever so slightly on four-stroke engines or diesel engines. They've got a sump, and they have oil in that sump. So when you drown the engine, the chances are water is going to make its way into that sump and mix with that oil. So you can, if it's a diesel, take the glow plugs out and get the water out, put the glow plugs back in again, and it will fire up. Okay, if it's petrol, just take the spark plugs out and it will fire up. And you better get yourself out of trouble. You know, if you're somewhere where you've got no more oil, you'll be able to run it and you'll be able to get yourself out of trouble. Get somewhere where you can change the oil. But you must change that oil, because water in the oil is not going to be any good for that engine whatsoever. So you need to check that. If it's a two-stroke motocross bike, I've been there many times, you've got no oil in your crankcase, because it's a two-stroke. The oil was in the petrol, but you have got oil in your gearbox. When I was younger, I drowned a motocross bike, and I thought to myself, I'll just take the plug out, unhydrolock it. This is how I learned my lesson, you know what I mean? This is why I'm telling you now. I learned a lesson. Took the plug out, kicked it over a few times, put the plug back in again. I'll give it a bit of a clean because it was wet. Put the plug back in again. A few kicks. I was lucky. The water didn't go into the petrol tank because the water didn't go high enough, but it went into the air filter, which is how it sucked the water in. Anyway, it did get in the gearbox, but I didn't think about that at the time. I just didn't cross my mind. Anyway, I read it for a long time afterwards. It wasn't until one day I looked in the sight glass and realised that it was milky in there. And I was thinking, how's water got in this gearbox? And then I realised when it was drowned. Doesn't do the clutch any good. I'm surprised it wasn't slipping, to be fair. Doesn't do anything any good inside that gearbox, so you need to change that as well. But you know, we're talking mainly about nitro, so but now I've brushed on that, maybe you'll understand it. But yeah, it couldn't be easier. So don't worry if you drown your nitro engine in a pond or a puddle or something like that. As long as the engine wasn't at full chat or relatively high RPMs, you should be okay. Because when it sucks in the water can't compress. The engine can't compress water. It'll compress air and fuel, but not water. So it just kind of gets stopped in its tracks. The piston's coming up, full force, stops dead. The crankshaft's on its force, cranking round in a circle, stops dead. You know, you can bend conrods, snap conrods, bend crankshafts, snap crankshafts. All that inertia, all that, well, it's inertia, all that force going round and up and down, stop dead in its tracks. It'll just break loads of stuff. You could put holes in pistons and do all sorts. But if it's just ticking over, or at low RPMs, you know, if you see it going into the water, just let off the throttle. Completely let off of it. Let it go in the water, and hopefully it'll suffocate before it can suck in too much water, and it'll stop running, and you'll be fine. But there's only one way to find out. You don't need... Listen, there's already going to be damage done, isn't there, right? So there's no need to take your engine apart before you even realise if it's got any damage done to it. So if you take that glow plug out and then you pull the engine over, and it sounds absolutely fine, chances are it is fine. If you pull the engine over, clack, 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 and you hear a load of clanking, or it gets stuck at certain points and it's difficult to pull over, it might go, you know, turn and then get jammed a bit, and then the chances are something's bent. But that is when you take it apart. If you pull it over and it's absolutely fine, don't worry about it, don't stress about it, just take the plug out, get the water out of it, put the plug back in, fire it up, and go and enjoy your life. Simple as that. I don't care what anyone says when they say it's a lot more complicated and a lot more difficult than that, because it ain't. And it's definitely not the end of the world if you drown your nitro car. You need to be a bit more worried about your electrics, to be fair. Your receiver and your servos are going to suffer a bit more than your engine will do. Your engine can handle a bit of water. Your receiver probably can't, unless it's waterproof. I don't know if they do waterproof receivers, do they? They do waterproof servos. I don't know if they do waterproof receivers. So you know, if your receiver box was watertight enough, by the time you got your car out, the water didn't go into the receiver, and you'll be fine. The servos may be different, but then again, I don't think the servos on my MP9 or my Savage are waterproof, and they survived going in a couple of ponds. So it's going to be hit and miss with the electrics, but your electrics are more vulnerable than your engine is. Your engine is tougher than you think. So the next time you drown your nitro car in a pond or a very deep puddle by mistake, perhaps you thought, oh, that's a nice puddle, I'll go through that, and it just goes and stops dead in a puddle, and you're like, oh no, I've just wasted all my money and I've got no nitro car. The chances are it's going to be absolutely fine. So yeah, hopefully that's helped you to understand what you need to do, and to realise there's no need to panic over little things like that. I'll catch you lot on the next one. Remember to love life, because that's what it's all about. And if you like boats, if you like cars, if you like buggies and trucks and engines and getting old cars up and running again, think about sticking around, because that's exactly what I do on a weekly basis. I'll see you later. All the best.